Hey everybody, my name's Ed. New School Comic Book Reviews. I have never had as many problems trying to record one of these videos as I have today. It's somehow taking me like 3 hours to do like a 15-minute video because I keep having either technical difficulties or weird interruptions and things. But basically, I'm going to review a few comics. I will review Teen Titans Convergence, Wonder Woman Convergence, Unbeatable Squirrel Girl 4, Black Hood 3, and I'll show you some of these other comic books that I happened to buy today. Okay, so here we go. Anyway, this was an okay issue. What we basically got was pretty much a throwback to the old school Teen Titans from the early 80s, and it's both good and it's both bad. Obviously, as far as the format and the plot and the characters are concerned, you've got that. But you also got Marv Wolfman writing pretty much the characters as they were at that particular time. And that's not a bad thing, but the comic seems more, it kind of feels more like an average issue, like a kind of almost like mediocre issue of Teen Titans of that time, as opposed to being a tribute to Teen Titans of that time, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Not a bad comic book. It's okay, but it's just okay though. So, but I don't regret I bought it though. Like a lot of good, memories and things came back. But as a comic book, it's just kind of average. Next thing I got was Converge's Wonder Woman #1, written by Larry Hama and artist by Josh Middleton. So in this particular issue, Diana Prince and Steve Trevor and Etta Candy are trapped in Gotham City of all places, and Diana Prince doesn't have her powers, and this is kind of a shout out to the mid-70s version of Wonder Woman, where they kind of changed the direction of the comic a lot, and they got rid of all the old kind of Silver Age trappings, and Diana Prince was this kind of person without powers, and she'd go do things or whatever and use judo on people, and then la da 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 da. And she actually would wear pretty much a variation of this suit right here. But the plot, as far as this issue is concerned, has something to do with Diana Prince and Etta Candy. They go and they do kind of like community outreach work, and there's this creepy old church that people keep going to in the neighborhood, where the people who run it are kind of zealots, kind of cultish or whatever. And at one point, from Diana kind of questioning them and their ways, they decide that she's a blasphemer and whatnot, and they knock her out, and they kind of throw her in, they tie her up, and they throw her in the basement. And about halfway through, Diana gets her powers back, and she used to be, Gotham's champion, and she has to fight vampire versions of the Joker, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman. I'd say I actually like this comic a little bit better than I like the Teen Titans version. The writing's a little bit more solid and whatnot. The art is okay. I'm a fan of Josh Middleton, but I think he's done better art other places. But the art we get here is decent. I actually do like this cover a lot. It just kind of harkens back to that kind of, I don't know, just that kind of old school type of old school comic book cover. And it's just I like the composition. I like the shading. I like the darkness. I like everything. It's kind of weird and spooky looking, and I just think it's pretty cool. All right, next thing I got was Unbeatable Squirrel Girl #4, written by Ryan North and art by Erica Henderson. And as you can see, this issue is Squirrel Girl versus Galactus, which they've been teasing for a while. Oh. And basically, I don't want to give you too much of the story, but Squirrel Girl has to go to the moon and stop Galactus from coming to Earth and destroying everything. And let's see here. What I want to say about that is, I know there's probably a lot of people who are like, oh no, come on, this, that, and the other thing, what silliness, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, they've already established that Squirrel Girl beat Thanos, and it's part of the regular Marvel canon, I mean, it's part of continuity. And so I can see how people were kind of apprehensive about Squirrel Girl versus Galactus. Thing is, the way the story plays out, it kind of works. It works with the humor that the comic is trying to go for. And actually what happens, you would actually almost buy it even if it was in a more serious type of comic. So I think people who are worried that Squirrel Girl is just going to karate chop Galactus or whatever shouldn't have anything to fear. And yeah, it's just a fun, lighthearted comic, and I enjoyed it a lot. I was talking to the guy at the comic book store. He was telling me like a friend of his kind of teases him for liking it, and he's like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you that you don't want a little bit of joy in your life? So I thought that was kind of funny. But okay, Squirrel Girl. All right, Black Hood #3, written by Dwayne Straczynski and art by Michael Gaydos. Yeah, this is the variant cover, and I really like it. I really like this kind of like mock-up of old sort of action revenge B-movie grindhouse drive-in flick type of movie poster thing going on here. And basically, excuse me. Basically, yeah, this is a really fun story. Well, it's a good story. It's a good comic book. It's really solid writing. Basically, you just get the continuing adventures of the new Black Hood, who is a policeman, and he's going through several sort of emotional and psychological things, and he's kind of more or less taken on the mantle of being the Black Hood and kind of protecting the streets, protecting the neighborhood. Some people think he's great. Some people think he's not so great, particularly the organized crime guys. And you see how he's starting to get a little bit closer to his police psychiatrist, who seems to be starting to develop some feelings for him. One thing I really like about this series is it doesn't shy away from the fact that his behavior, he's basically unstable, and he's pretty much got a drug problem. He's addicted to pills and things. And it like I said, on one hand, it's just a straightforward vigilante action revenge story, but at the same time, they don't ignore the fact that the guy's completely unstable, and it's not really, good behavior on any, stretch of the imagination. Whereas if this was a comic book like, say, Moon Knight or Daredevil or something, a lot of that would have been ignored or excused, you know what I mean? But here, like I said, it's kind of upfront. It is pretty much part of, the overall theme, Okay, so it is probably actually my favorite of the 4 comics that I've read so far. Other comic books I got were Max Patterson, Max Ride, First Flight, which is an adaptation, I guess, of a series of young adult novels I don't know. I'm not really that familiar with it. I was just in the store and I just happened to like flip through it, and I just really like the art, so I thought I'd take a chance on it. And but that's another thing, you know. On one hand, I see why Marvel is doing it. They want to branch out, get different readers, and get a different audience and whatnot. But like I said, you need to advertise it, man. You need to show people that you do stuff besides Secret Wars and Original Sins and all those things. You know, they really need to like kind of step out of that box as far as advertising and whatnot. Okay, and other comic books I got this week were New Avengers 32, Velvet 10, Grindhouse Black Lagoon number 4, Satellite Sam 13. I still haven't gotten around to reading 12 yet. Names number 2. I'm way behind on this comic. I just found out about it. I don't even know what issue they're at. Like 5 or 6 now, something like that. Divinity number 2. Number 3 is already out. And Dynamite 5 number 1, or I guess you say Image First. I've always been aware of this comic, but I've never read it, so I just thought I'd take a shot here. So, okay, so that's it. I gotta thank you very much for listening, and everybody have a great day.